So if you can solve this question, at least you can try this question. I think you may not be able to solve this question. If you are able to solve this question, superb, very good, and try this question once. Okay. The question is, according to the concept of limit state design as per IS 456-2000, the probability of not failing the structure is, or probability of not failing of structure is, not the failure of structure is. Even if you are giving the wrong answers, I will be very happy. At least you are trying, na? Yes, sir, this question is already asked in GATE. Yes, it is a GATE question actually. But I have modified this question a bit. I know some of you will, by heart this equation. I know that. Yes. See, till now we have discussed about this characteristic strength and characteristic load. When we talk about the failure of the structure, we can consider, or as per IS 456-2000, that code will consider a structure is failed when, yes, this question. So I am coming to that. I will explain this, and I'm just giving you I'm just trying to give you an explanation for this question. Okay, you can keep that question aside and listen here. So what is the possibility of the failure of a structure? As per our IS 456, we have discussed about characteristic strength, that is strength of the structure. We have discussed about characteristic load. So there is actually two possibilities are there for a structure to fail. Possibility number one, I am going to consider it as P1, that is, it is based on strength criteria. I am going to tell it like this, based on strength criteria, that is strength of the material. What was characteristic strength? What was characteristic strength? The strength below which not more than 5% of test results are expected to fall. Not more than 5% of test results are expected to fall. Which means if the strength is below that 5%, then the structure will fail. Can you tell me what is the probability of not failing the structure? What is the probability of, that is here the probability of failure is around 5%. There is a 5% probability of failing the structure. Right now there is a 5% probability is there. If the strength is less than that 5%, then the structure will fail. Or IS code is saying that the failure will be, or the percentage of failure will be 5%. If you read the question there, I will read the question. According to the concept of limit state design as per IS 456-2000, the probability of not failure, he is asking us to find the probability of not failure of the structure. As per our strength criteria, if the strength is less than this 5%, it is less than 5% of that FCK, then the structure will fail. Then what is the probability of not failing? Probability of not failing here will be 0.95. Right now probability of not failing will be 95% or 0.95% possibility is there that the structure will not fail. So this is as per our strength criteria. And there is second possibility is there. It is based on load, or we can say load criteria. If you want, we can consider it as load criteria. What was our characteristic load? The load which is having around 95% of chances are there. That is the load at which is having 95% of probability of not being exceeded. Or what is the probability of failure there? What is the probability of failure there? It is around 5%, right? What is the probability of not failure? The probability of not failing is there also it is 0.95. 95% of probability of not being exceeded. 95% of probability of not being exceeded. It is 0.95. Probability of not failing, it is 0.95 based on load criteria, and based on strength criteria also it is 0.95. So what is the overall probability of not failing? Overall probability of not failing, here you have to consider, or you have to refresh the concepts you have studied in probability. These two events are independent. For independent events, the overall probability will be equal to, if one event A, another event B, if these two events are independent, the overall probability will be equal to P of A into P of B. P of A, here it is 0.95, P of B, here it is 0.95, and the overall probability of not failing will be equal to 0.95 into 0.95. then tell me what is the overall probability of not failing? What is the overall probability of not failing? It will come around 0.9025 or it is 90.25%. It will be 90.25%, which means that if you design a structure as per limit state method of design, the overall probability of not failing that structure is around 90.25%. Right now, so if you want, you can go further. Some of you are giving me the answer for overall probability of failure. As per, if we can just modify this question again, what is the overall probability of failure overall probability of failing a structure? Overall probability of failure of a structure as per limit state method of design. Can you give me the answer? Overall probability of failure of a structure as per IS 456-2000. Can you give me the answer? Give me the answer. Yes, 9.7. Superb. Why you are getting that? See, overall probability of not failing the structure is 90.25 or 0.9025. So overall probability of failure is around 1 minus 0.9025. Answer will come around 0.0975 or you can say 9.75%. Overall probability of failure of structure, when we design a structure as per limit state method of design, it will come around 9.75. Overall probability of not failure of a structure, when we discuss it with our limit state method, it will be coming around 90.25%. What is the meaning of that? These two sentences. See, the limit state of methods, we have to consider two cases there. We were discussing about the material, we were discussing about the load. When the load is more than the characteristic load, we'll consider that structure is failed. If the strength is below this characteristic strength, we will consider that structure is failed. So there is two possibilities are there. Either strength is more than this characteristic, strength is less than this characteristic strength, there is a 5% chance of failure and there is a 95% chance of non-failure. Right now, when the load is more than this 95% value, there is a chance of failure. There is 5% failure chance is there. 95% of chance of non-failure is there. So probability of non-failure here as per strength criteria is 0.95. As per load criteria is 0.95. The overall probability, as they are independent events, overall probability will be P of A and P of B. It is 0.95 into 0.95. We will be getting the overall probability of non-failure as 0.9025. It will come around 90.25 and overall probability of failure of the structure will come around 1 minus 0.9025. We will be getting the answer as 9.75%. Okay, is it clear? So please give the next heading, grades of concrete. Grades of concrete. Sorry, it is grades. Okay, I'll write it again. Give the heading, grade, G-R-A-D, grades of concrete. Grades of, tell me what is this grade of concrete? Tell me what is this grade of concrete? Yes, very good. Grade of concrete is actually based on the characteristic compressive strength of the concrete at the end of, after 28 days of strength, right? After 28 days. Yes, it is a strength value or it is based on characteristic compressive strength, that is FCK, that is characteristic compressive strength of concrete at 28 days. We will be calculating the characteristic compressive strength at 28 days, no? So it is based on the characteristic compressive strength of the concrete at 28 days, right now. So based on this characteristic compressive strength, we have different grades of concrete. Just like you said, we have M10 grade of concrete. We will discuss what is this M10, and we have M15, we have M20, we have M25, like that. We have M55, we have M60, we have M65, it will go like this, and we have till M90, we have different grades of concrete. We have M5, M7.5 is also there. It will be going like this, M10, M15, M20, M25, it will go like this, M55, 25, M30, 35, 40, 45, 50, then 55, 60, 65, 70, it will go till M90. So these are the different grades of concrete available, and if you think if you look at these various grades of concrete, from M10 to M20, this is called ordinary grade or ordinary concrete, we can say, ordinary concrete. And from M25 to M55, it is standard grade. Standard grade. From M10 to M20, it is called our ordinary grade of concrete. From M25 to M55, it is called standard grade. And M60 and above, it is called high strength concrete. It will be our high strength concrete. Above M60, it is our high strength concrete. Above M60, it is high strength concrete. So when we discuss about the grades of the concrete, yes, you are right, Tanbir, you are right. When we discuss about the grades of the concrete, you have to remember something here. Give us a note. First point will be, see, our IS code suggests that we have to use a minimum of, for ordinary concrete, for ordinary concrete or ordinary construction, for by RCC, in RCC, for ordinary construction, use a minimum grade, minimum M20 or minimum grade of M20, or we can say the minimum grade of concrete to be used for ordinary construction or ordinary RCC. We have to use a minimum grade of M20. For normal construction, you have to use normal construction with reinforcement concrete. We have to use a minimum grade of M20. Now you can ask me, but this grade of concrete is actually, but it depends upon exposure conditions. It depends upon exposure conditions. I'll tell you what is this exposure conditions. It depends upon exposure conditions. It is not always true. It is our IS code is saying that for ordinary concrete, minimum grade of concrete must be M20, but it is not always true. I'll discuss. It depends upon the exposure conditions of the concrete. I'll come to that. And some of you can ask me, sir, what is this M20? If I take M20 grade concrete here, if I take our M20 grade concrete here, what is this M? What is this 20? Anyone? What is this M? If I consider M20 concrete, what is this M? Yeah, exactly. M stands for mix. M stands for mix. M stands for mix, and 20 stands for FCK in Newton per mm square at 28 days, or characteristic compressive strength of the concrete at the end of 28 days. M stands for the mix of the concrete. Mix means we are mixing cement, fine aggregate, for coarse aggregate in different ratios, right? So that is actually our representation of that's actually the mix. That is the M. M represents mix of the concrete, and 20 is the characteristic compressive strength of the concrete at the end of 28 days. And coming to one more point I have to discuss here, that is our IS code says that the maximum grade that can be used is M60. The grade of concrete above M60 are not allowed or not taken into consideration. As in our IS code, the maximum grade of concrete which we are using is M60, not M65, M70, M75. All these things are not considered in our IS 456-2000. The maximum grade which is considered in our design or in as per in our IS 456-2000 is M60. Okay. Yes, Srikanth is asking what is this mix. See, Srikanth, I'll write it here. See, for M20 concrete, the mix value will be 1 is to 1.5 is to 3. 1 is to 1.5 is to 3. That means we'll take our ingredients of concrete, that is cement, fine aggregate and coarse aggregate, in this ratio 1, 1.5 and 3. This is actually the meaning of mix of the concrete. For M20 concrete, it is 1, 1.5, 3. For M25 concrete, it is 1, 1, 2. It will be going like that. It will be going. So different mixes are available for different grade of concrete. The mix will be different. Okay, that's actually the meaning of mix. We are mixing all these ingredients. No? That's it. The ratio of this mix various components will be different for different grade of concretes. Anindita Das, Anindita Bhuyan. What is asking? Sir, how to find what? Anindita, you want the these values, that is 1.5, 1, 1.13. You are asking about that. See, for that we have to go for mixed design. Otherwise, we have different value. See, I'll tell you. See, we have different grades like this. I'll start with M5. M5 is there. M7.5 is there. M10 is there. M15 is there. M20 is there. M25 is there, like that. Right now, for M5 concrete, the mix will be 1, 5, 10. For M7.5, it will be 1, 4, 8. For M10 concrete, it will be 1, 3, 6. For M15 concrete, it will be 1, 2, 4. For M20 concrete, it will be 1, 1.5, 3. And for M25 concrete, it will be 1, 1, 2. This means actually our cement, fine aggregate, and this is our coarse aggregate of the concrete. Okay. Yes, up to M25 we will be having nominal mix. These things are available. And above M25, above M25 we will be having, you have to design the mix. You have to design the mix. Sir, how you remember all this? See, you can consider, see, you have to think in a different way. I used to remember it in this way. Okay, if you want, you can remember it in this way. We'll start with M5, no? We'll start with M5, right? So 1, 5, 10. M5 is there, that is 1, 5, 10. Then rest of the things here you can write. If it is 1, 5, 10, it will be 1, 4, 8, 1, 3, 6, 1, 2, 4. Here actually slight change is there, 1, 1.53 for M20 concrete. Only for M20 concrete there is a slight change, that is 1, 1.53, and same thing will repeat after this. 1, 2, 4, that is again it will become 1, 1, 2. That's it. Yeah, Ruduraj, you can remember it in your own ways. I used to remember it like this. You can remember it with some shortcuts. It will be better. I think I can remove this. So just now we have discussed about the exposure conditions. What is these exposure conditions? I told you for ordinary construction, as per our IS 456-2000, we have to choose a minimum grade of M20, right now. But I told you it depends upon the exposure conditions. So IS code is suggesting that if the exposure condition, he is giving these things in a table, where in the first column it is exposure conditions, and in the second column it is minimum grade of concrete to be used. Minimum grade of concrete to be used. What is exposure condition and what is the minimum grade of the concrete to be used? See, exposure conditions are classified into 5. First one is mild exposure conditions. Second one, moderate. Third one, severe, very severe, and finally we have the extreme exposure conditions. And IS code suggests that for mild exposure conditions, you say minimum of M20 grade concrete, you have to use minimum M20 grade concrete, and we cannot use M15 concrete there. And if the exposure condition is moderate, you have to use a minimum M25 grade concrete. If the exposure condition is moderate, you have to choose a minimum grade of concrete as M25. And if it is a severe exposure condition, we have to use a minimum grade of M30. And for very severe condition, we have to use it M35 grade concrete. Minimum grade of concrete to be used for very severe condition is M35. We cannot use M30 there. And for the extreme case, we have to use a minimum grade of M40. You can ask me, sir, what are these exposure conditions? What is this mild exposure condition? What is this moderate exposure condition? What is this severe exposure condition and all, right? See, for mild exposure condition, I'll tell you, see, if the concrete to be constructed, is not exposed to the weather conditions. Suppose you can see one ceiling there over you, right? This ceiling is not exposed to rain, weather conditions, right? So for these ceilings and all, a minimum of M20 is required. M20 is need, only minimum M20 is required. We don't need to provide M20 for M30 like that. A minimum that which can be provided is M20, or below this is not recommended. So that's the meaning of it. So when the concrete is not exposed to our weather conditions, or when it is exposed to a small rain or light rain, we can use this mild exposure conditions. And similarly, for moderate exposure condition, what is this moderate exposure conditions? When the concrete, don't write anything, just listen here. When the concrete is exposed to rain, when the concrete is exposed to rain, you can see the ceiling over the top floor. When the concrete is exposed to rain, the concrete is exposed to rain, or when the concrete is under water, pure water, or when the concrete is not under the action of any aggressive, or when it is not in any of these aggressive environments, we can consider that is a moderate exposure conditions. What did I say? Mild condition means the concrete is not exposed to any of these weather conditions. It is actually not exposed to any of these weather conditions, or it can be exposed to light rain. Light rain means very small intensity of rain. And moderate conditions, the concrete is exposed to rain, or it is under water, and it is not, but still it is not exposed to any that aggressive environments. Coming to severe conditions, concrete is exposed to heavy rain. Concrete is exposed to heavy rain, and if the structure is beside any seashore, now you know what is seashore, right? If it is the concrete, the structure is in a coastal area, or the structure is subject to some aggressive environments, we are going to consider it as severe exposure conditions. Similarly, it will go like that. All the things are given here in this table. It is, I have taken this table from IS 2000. He is telling that in this table he is telling us which exposure condition to be considered as mild condition, which has to be considered as moderate, which has to be considered as severe, which has to be considered as very severe, and which has to be considered as extreme condition. And you can see here, for very extreme severe condition, we will consider it as very severe condition when the concrete surface is exposed to corrosive fumes, or when the concrete is buried in aggressive soil, etc. And for extreme condition, when the concrete is in tidal zone, or when it is an offshore structure, it will be considered as an extreme weather conditions. For these conditions, we have to use a minimum of these grades. Okay, you can go through this table once. You can go through this table of contents. You have our environmental conditions there: mild, moderate, severe, very severe, and extreme. And you have exposure conditions also. Right now, go through them once. After that, we will continue with the other concepts. Go through those two table, that table, that mild, moderate, severe, very severe, and extreme. Yes, you have to remember this, because from IES, in IES actually they have asked around 3 times from this concept. They ask the questions like this. For offshore structures, the minimum grade of concrete to be used is, the answer here is M40. Offshore structure means the structure is always subject to the effect of that tidal, that structure is in the tidal zone, right? So you have to use a minimum of M40 grade concrete. One time they asked the question like this: for coastal areas, for the structures in coastal areas, what is the minimum grade of concrete to be used? For coastal areas, if the structure is in coastal area, what is the minimum grade of concrete to be used? Can you tell me what is the minimum grade of concrete to be used when the structure is in coastal area? Yes, M30. It was a great question actually. So they are asking questions from this condition. So you have to remember this. Nothing is there here. If it is not exposed to rain, or if it is if it is not exposed to any weather conditions, mild. If it is exposed to a light rain, or if it is not in any aggressive environment, we have to consider it as moderate. For severe, when it is in a heavy, it is subject to heavy rain, or if it is a structure is in a coastal area, we have to consider it as severe. And similarly, you can follow other conditions. Don't try to by heart them. Okay, just try to understand that about nuclear radiation. See, for nuclear radiations and all, you have to consider high strength concrete, not even M40. You have to consider, you have to go with high strength concrete. Okay, you can give concrete, you can make the concrete as much strong possible. Okay. These are just criteria, bus. If you want, you can consider it as extreme. It will definitely come under extreme conditions, right? You have to use a minimum M30, M40, right? But anyhow, if there is nuclear radiations, you have to use a higher grade concrete. Or the maximum grade possible is there around. Suppose if you want, you can use M60 also or M65 also. It's a matter of safety, right? So, Bhuyan, so Riduraj is asking, isn't water is good for concreting? After yes, Rudraj, actually after setting, water is required at the early stage of concrete, right? For it is the purpose is for curing purpose. It is called curing. So we need water for the proper attainment of strength. But after in the later stage, it will affect the strength of the concrete, right? That's why. Fine. Please note it down. You can write the summary of this table in your book. You can write the summary of this table in your book. Don't try to mug up this table, but you can just go through them once. Okay, it's important. It's important. That's why I'm giving you this table. You can just go through the table and you can just write the summary of this. Okay, that's what I meant to say. And if you are finished, Rudraj will not help it getting the full strength. See, if it is exposed to water for a very long time, it will affect the strength. No. The water in the initial stage will help the concrete to gain the strength. In the later stage, see, too much of anything is not good, right? The same thing is applicable for concrete also. Yes, go to this question. You already know the answer. Here the question is, a reinforced concrete structure has to be constructed along a sea coast. The minimum grade of concrete to be used as per IS 456-2000 is. So option A M15, option B M20, option C M25. Option D, M30. Option A, we can easily eliminate. Why? Because for an RCC structure, as per IS 456-2000, we have to use a minimum grade of M20. So we cannot use the M15. So we can eliminate the option A. And coming to option B. For option B, C, D, and we have to think about the exposure conditions of the concrete. Here, we have to think about whether it is in the mild, moderate, severe, very severe, or extreme conditions. Here you can see it is given that the structure is constructed along a sea coast. That is in the coastal area, right? It is in the coastal area. If it is in the coastal area, the exposure condition is severe, and the minimum grade of concrete to be used here is M30. Okay, his answer here will be option D. Right now, if this is a sea, this is the land, and you will be constructing the concrete here. This concrete structure, this structure is actually subjected to the wind from here. Wind will be continuously blowing from the sea. It will be having salt content. So it will affect the strength of the concrete. It will cause corrosion and all. So that's the reason why we are increasing the strength of the concrete by increasing the grade of the concrete. If it is in the salt water, then we have to use M40, higher grade of concrete. Right? So next one is the acceptance criteria. We have to discuss as one more concept here. Acceptance criteria. See, what is this acceptance criteria? See, suppose if I am taking a grade of concrete, I am considering M20 grade concrete. M20 grade concrete. And I know the mix to be used, right? For M20 concrete, I know the mix to be used. What is the mix to be used here? It is 1:1.5:3. So this is the mix to be used for constructing our M20 concrete, right now. So we are going to construct, or we are going to test the strength of this cover. We are going to test the compressive strength of the concrete. So for that purpose, what I will do usually, we will go with our cube strength test, right? We have discussed it just now. So we will consider cube of size 150 mm by 150 mm size, and we will take different number of cubes. Suppose there is cube number 1 is there, cube number 2 is there, cube number 3 is there. Suppose we have n number of cubes are there. I will take cube number 4, cube number 5, and we have taken n number of cubes for finding the compressive strength of the concrete. So each cube will give you some compressive strength, right? Our IS code suggests that our IS code suggests that take any of 3 samples, or we can say take a minimum of 3 samples, take a minimum of 3 samples and calculate the mean strength or find the mean strength of each cube. Suppose I have taken C2, I have taken C3, I have taken C4, and for example the compressive strength of cube C2 I am going to consider it as F1, compressive strength of C3 I am going to consider it as F2, compressive strength of cube 4 I am going to consider it as F4. Sorry, I am going to consider it as F3, right? So these are the compressive strengths I obtained from the cube C2, C3 and C4. Our IS code says that suppose if Fm is the mean strength, we have taken 3 number of samples, a minimum of 3 number of samples must be taken, and this is the Fm is the mean strength. Our IS code says that the percentage variation of the strength, that is F1, F2 and F3, it must not be greater than plus or minus 15% of our mean strength. It must not be greater than 15% plus or minus 15% of our mean strength. You have to remember this. If it is more than this plus or minus 15% of the mean strength, we will not use this grade of concrete for design, for construction. We cannot use that concrete for construction. Right now, so if I want to use M20 concrete, we will make cubes of different, we will mix n number of cubes, and we will take we have n number of cubes are there. I'll take randomly, I'll take minimum 3 samples and we'll find the mean strength of those 3 samples, and that mean strength must not be greater than individual variation must not be greater than plus or minus 15% of the mean strength. If it is more than that 15%, we have to think about we cannot use that concrete for the construction. See, suppose what is this acceptance criteria? See, what IS code says that we'll take different number, we'll go with the cube strength test now for finding the strength of the concrete to be used. So I have taken one grade of concrete, that is M20 grade of concrete. Yes, Rudraj, you are right. Then not the strength, that percentage variation. I'll tell you that. See, suppose we have taken n number of cubes. I have taken mold. I have put the concrete. After 24 days, I have taken it outside and for curing. And after 28 days, I have tested the compressive strength of each concrete. And suppose these are we have taken n number of cubes are there. Instead of calculating the strength of each and every cube, our IS code says that we can take randomly, you can collect 3 samples from the number of cubes you prepared, and I have taken around a minimum of 3 samples must be selected. I have taken 3 number of samples, and you have to calculate the mean of these samples, and after that calculate the percentage variation. What is this percentage variation? Suppose this is F1, here F1 is the strength of the cube 2, and Fm is the mean strength. What is this percentage variation? F1 minus Fm divided by Fm. This is the percentage variation. Into 100 will give you the percentage variation. Suppose I got it as 6.25. The percentage variation for in the strength for cube number 2 is I obtained it as 6.25%. Then I will accept this concrete. I will accept this C2. Similarly, for C3 also, suppose I got, for example, I am telling this, for C3, suppose I got it as plus, or I'll say F2 minus Fm divided by, not Fm, it is F2 I guess, right? It is F2. Sorry, it was Fm in the beginning, now it is F2. Not Fm here, it is F1 and F2, right? Suppose the percentage variation is I am getting it as 1.15, which is within plus or minus 15%, no? I will accept it. And if it is between, if it is for the cube C4, it is F3 and it is also F3. Suppose the percentage variation is around 2.5%. I will accept the concrete. Why? Because for all the 3 cubes, the percentage variation, all that is within the plus or minus 15%. Suppose if instead of this I got it around minus 16.25%, tell me, will I accept this concrete or not? No, we cannot accept this. As per IS 456-2000, or the code is saying that You should not accept this concrete. Why? Because you have taken 3 random samples, a minimum of 3 random samples. When you calculated the mean strength and when we calculated the percentage variation in the strength, you have obtained 1% of variation which is more than this plus or minus 15%. No? So you cannot accept this concrete. That's the meaning of it. We are doing it practically before constructing a structure. Right now? Yes. Sir, why these cubes are not accepted? Not the cube, Angit, and the structure will not be accepted. That concrete will not be accepted. Suppose, for example, what to say? I am the client, and I am coming to you for constructing a structure. Right? You are the constructor. So before constructing that structure, I am asking you. See, I need the test results of concrete. I need which type of concrete you are going to use. I need the information about the concrete you are going to use. I need the information about the reinforcement you are going to use. So I need all those informations. So what you will do? You will go with the cube test, no? So you will go with the cube test. You will construct the cubes. You will take M20 grade concrete. Sir, this is the grade of concrete I am going to use. And when we use this grade of concrete, we are going to get this much strength. But when we to understand this, what I am going to do this to understand this, IS code is going to help me, a client. After constructing all these cubes, and if you are getting this problem, that is, if you are getting the percentage variation more than this, our IS code is saying that it is not safe and economical to use that concrete given by you. You means the designer or the contractor. So we are not going to use that concrete. So these things are done in the practical, in our day-to-day life. Okay, these things are we are doing it in practically. Okay. Yes, only 3 random samples. See, the minimum of 3 samples must be taken. Minimum of 3 samples must be taken. That's a recommendation by IS 56-2000. Remember, these 2 values are important actually. It can be asked in any of these competitive exams. For accepting this, we have to use a minimum of 3 samples, and the percentage of variation must not be greater than plus or minus 15%. Tell me when it is finished. Ruduraj, if the samples are taken during casting and it is failed, that is, see, these are the recommendations by IS 456-2000. No? So you have to follow that. We cannot test the cube for compression immediately after during casting. We cannot do that. Right now, that will not give you the exact compressive strength of the concrete. That is still in the plastic stage. No, we cannot do that. Sir, we will get the results after 28 days. Now, see, these things we will do before construction. These things we will do before constructing the structure, not after the construction. We are taking these samples. Before construction, I will ask you. As a client, I will ask you which concrete you are going to use. Before constructing a structure, we will test the concrete before constructing, not after constructing. Okay. These things are done in the design stage itself, not during the construction stage. Okay. Yeah. Next one, I can give the heading stress strain curve of the concrete. I have to discuss about this also, which is not that much important, but I have to discuss some points here. Stress strain curve of concrete. Stress strain curve of concrete. Stress strain curve of concrete. So what is this stress strain curve of concrete? Or you can say stress strain curve of concrete in uniaxial compression. So in order to draw the stress strain curve of concrete, what I am going to do is, I am going to take a cube like this. Our IS code is suggesting that take a cube like this. Sorry, not cube, it is a cylinder. Take a cylinder like this, whose diameter is 150 mm, whose length or height of the cube is around 300 mm. Height of the cube or length of the cube is around 300 mm and the diameter of the cube is around 150 mm. Take a cube like this and take after 28 days of casting or curing and all, take it for universal testing machine, apply the compressive load like this and draw the curve. That's what we are going to do. See, when we discussed about the basic compounds of the concrete, I told you the concrete is a mixture of coarse aggregates, it is a mixture of fine aggregate, cement and water, right? Coarse aggregate, fine aggregate, cement and water. Together I am going to consider these two as aggregates. And cement plus water I am going to consider it as cement paste. I am going to discuss something here. if you are drawing, or if you think about the stress strain curve of the aggregate, it is interesting to note that the stress strain curve of aggregate will be a straight line like this. If you draw the stress strain curve, you will be having the stress here in the y-axis, you will be having the strain here in the x-axis. If you draw the stress strain curve of the aggregates, you will be getting a straight line like this. I am giving you the results directly. If you draw the stress strain curve of the aggregates, you will be getting a straight line like this. We will be getting a straight line. You have to remember this. We will be getting a straight line for aggregates. And if you talk about the cement paste, for that also you are going to get a straight line like this. You are going to get a, not a straight line, you can say a fairly good straight line. Okay, this will be for our cement paste. This will be for our cement paste. For aggregate it will be a straight line. For cement paste it will be a fairly good straight line. Here also stress is taken in the y-axis and strain is taken in the x-axis. So our concrete is actually a combination of aggregates and cement paste. No? So you can remember like this, the stress strain curve of our concrete will not be a straight line. When you after this test, you will be getting a stress strain curve like this. Stress strain curve of concrete you are going to get like this, which is not a straight line, or which is not a linear one, which is a non-linear curve. This will be the stress strain curve of concrete, which will be a non-linear curve. Initially some portion will be linear, for a small portion it will be linear one, but generally it is a non-linear curve. The stress strain curve of concrete, you have to remember this thing here, the stress strain curve of concrete will be a non-linear one under uniaxial compression. Right? To draw the stress strain curve of the concrete, we are taking a cylinder of size 150 mm by 300 mm. It will be taken for uniaxial compression, and you will draw the stress strain curve. When you draw the stress strain curve, you will be getting a stress strain curve like this, which is non-linear. The curve of the stress strain curve of the concrete is non-linear in nature. If you want, we can draw all the things together. See, this is the aggregate, this is for aggregates, and this is for cement paste, and this will be the stress strain curve of the concrete. Right now, please note it down. You have to remember this. Okay, stress strain curve of the aggregates, stress strain curve of the cement paste, and this is the stress strain curve of concrete, which will be a non-linear line. Okay, yes, please note it down. If minimum the cubes are prepared from the concrete mix which are used in the structure. Yes, I think you are asking like this. I think yes, you mean the cubes are prepared from the concrete mix which are used in the structure. Exactly. If you are using M20 concrete here, I am going to use that concrete to show the test results. Okay, before constructing. So please note it down. These things. It was a GATE question, I guess. They gave these three graphs, and they asked you the question like this: which among these are the stress strain curve of aggregate, which among these the stress strain curve of concrete, which among these is the stress strain curve of cement paste. Okay, it was an IES question also, I guess. It was asking GATE and IES also, right? Yes, I think it's done, right? Yes. So I am taking the stress strain curve of the concrete here again, just to explain some more things. I told you the stress strain curve of the concrete will be a non-linear line like this. It will be a non-linear line, and it will go like this. See, it is generally observed that you can see the curve is going like this, right? This is the stress or the strain. It is the strain value. See, you can see in the curve there is a maximum strain value is occurring at this point, right now. So at this strain value, or say for a strain value around here, we are getting the maximum strength in the concrete or maximum stress in the concrete. For a strain value here, I don't know what strain value is that. For a strain value, we are going to get a maximum stress there, right? So this strain value is generally observed to be 0.2% or it is 0.002. It is generally observed that this is drawn for ordinary grade concrete. For ordinary grade concrete, the maximum strength or maximum stress value will occur at a strain value of 0.002. and that stress value corresponding to this strain, that is 0.002, or that strength value corresponding to this strain, that is 0.002, is taken as FCK. That is taken as, or that is called, that is considered to be FCK, that is characteristic compressive strength of the concrete. And one more thing you have to remember, this is the point where curve ends, no? This is the point where curve ends, right? The stress value corresponding to that point is called crushing strength. The strength value corresponding to that point is called our crushing strength, and the corresponding strain is called our crushing strain. You can remember this. It is the peak value or the maximum strength will occur at a strain value of 0.002, and that value is considered to be our characteristic compressive strength, and the point where the curve ends is called our crushing strength. The strength corresponding to that point is called our crushing strength, and the strain corresponding to that is our crushing strain, right? If you think about, this is for our ordinary grade concrete, right? This is for ordinary grade concrete, for ordinary grade concrete, and for higher grade concrete you are going to get a curve like this. This is for higher grade concrete, and for low grade concretes you are going to get a curve like this, or we can say it is lean mixes, that is lower grade concrete or concrete having low strength, or we can say lower mixes. Okay, lower mixes. For lower mixes you will be getting a flatter curve. For high grade mixes you will be getting a curve like this, steeper curves. Okay, this is I'll repeat. This is a stress strain curve of the concrete. The maximum, if you can observe this, the maximum for ordinary grade of concrete, for the maximum strength value will occur at a strain value of 0.002 or 0.2 percentage, and that strength value is considered to be our FCK, that is characteristic compressive strength. And the point where the concrete fails, or the maximum strength, it is the point where the curve ends is considered to be the maximum strength or the crushing strength of the concrete. This is the crushing strength. Here is the value you are getting here is called crushing strength. Strain corresponding to that is called that crushing strain. For this higher grade concrete, the crushing strain will be somewhere around 0.2 to 0.5 percentage, or you can say 0.3 to 0.5 percentage. It will vary from 0.3 to 0.5%. That crushing strain will vary from 0.3 to 0.5 percentage. So you have to just extend the curve like this. Okay, this is 0.2 now. It will come around 0.3 to 0.5 percentage. Please note it down. The behavior of concrete is non-elastic. Okay, it is non-elastic. We are coming to that. Just remember these things. You can observe these things here. This is the strain value for maximum strength, and the point at which the curve ends is called the crushing strength. And this is for high grade strain. It will be a steeper curve. For lean mixes, for lower mixes, it will be a flatter curve. And for higher grade concrete, the crushing strain will be around 0.3 to 0.5. It is important. Okay, I'll discuss. Don't mug up these values. Don't by heart these values. Not required. But this is important to discuss something. I'll come to that. We will require that when we discuss the assumption of limit state method. We need that. Okay.